Brothers and sisters, we are blessed in countless ways. First and foremost, we are sitting here in safety and security and comfort. We have to thank Allah for this beauty of this opportunity that we have that so many people in the world don't have. And so we seek safety and refuge in our Creator, Provider, and Sustainer from the evil of this world, from the darknesses of this world, from that which has penetrated our hearts. We ask Him to cleanse us of that. We recognize all things exist and begin and function in His grace, in His benevolence, in His mercy, and His compassion. And it's for that reason that we owe Him a life of gratitude. Gratitude and thanks is a way of living, and we should embrace that way of living. We ask Him to send His peace and blessings and mercy on His final messenger, Muhammad, and all of those who follow him until the day of judgment. The reality is that light is the source of life. There can be no life without light. Light is the source of energy. Light is the source of the beauty of everything around us that we realize. This is true on a physical level, and this is true on a spiritual level. When Allah describes Himself, Allahu nuru samawati wal ard. God is the light of the heavens and the earth. What He means is, it is because of His presence, it is because of His functional purpose that there is life, that there is energy, and that there is beauty. We are called to use our life with the energy of revelation as conscious moral people to beautify the world, to repair that which is broken, to make nice that which was ugly, to make true that which was false, to make just that which was oppressed. This is what the light is calling us to. This is the guidance. قَدْ جَاءَكُم مِّنَ اللَّهِ نُورٌ وَكِتَابٌ مُّبِينٌ يَهْدِي بِهِ اللَّهُ مَنِ اتَّبَعَ رِضْوَانَهُ سُبُلَ السَّلَامِ وَيُخْرِجُهُم مِّنَ الظُّلُمَاتِ إِلَى النُّورِ بِإِذْنِهِ. He says to us, truly a light from God has come to you, and a book that makes things clear. By it God guides to the paths of peace whoever would seek His contentment, as He takes them out of the darknesses and puts them into the light. The purpose of revelation is to inspire a behavior, and in the example of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, we can see that light, how revelation becomes a way of being. So the Quran tells us about success. فَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا بِهِ وَعَزَّرُوهُ وَنَصَرُوهُ وَاتَّبَعُوا النُّورَ الَّذِي أُنزِلَ مَعَهُ. Success is for those who believe in the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him. They confirm him, they support him, and they follow the light that was revealed with him. Believing in the Prophet is not just simply saying, I claim that he is the messenger of God. It is knowing him intimately. It is feeling a connection with him on a practical level. It is confirming him in our behaviors, in our words, in our actions. How much of the day do we find ourselves acting in a way, speaking in a way, because it reflects the light of the Prophet ﷺ's example that we have learned through studying the hadith, studying the seerah? Do we really support the Prophet? Are we promoting Islam by our presence? Are we following that light that he was sent with? Do people feel that sense of light because of our presence? That is the only way we are going to win this battle against evil and darkness. There will always be oppressors. They will always try to envelop the light with their darkness. يُرِيدُونَ لِيُطْفِئُوا نُورَ اللَّهِ بِأَفْوَاهِهِمْ وَاللَّهُ مُتِمُّ نُورِهِ وَلَوْ كَرِهَ الْكَافِرُونَ. The oppressors want to put out the light of God with their mouths, with their lies, with their twisting of reality. But God will complete His light no matter how much the disbelievers dislike it. How will he do that? By those who choose to follow his message, those who choose to study the behaviors of the Prophet ﷺ and his character, his decision-making process, those who were touched by him. And they shine that light, and then the darkness is extinguished. It is this sincere heart that yearns for its source, the heavenly light of God. أَفَمَنْ شَرَحَ اللَّهُ صَدْرَهُ لِلْإِسْلَامِ فَهُوَ عَلَى نُورٍ مِّن رَبِّهِ. Whenever God opens someone's heart to Islam, they will walk with the light of their Lord. Again, opening one's heart to Islam is not someone claiming to be Muslim and then checking some boxes about some rituals, about claiming some affiliations. It's about a sincere desire to live out the will of God in our daily lives, living in His remembrance, living in His glory, praising Him in our daily life by how we live. It's the responsibility of us to seek that in our heart. Whenever God opens up our heart, then it is moved on the straight path of light. And it all starts with an intimate bond. The Prophet ﷺ said, "As-salatu nur." The daily prayers is light. What does he mean by that? When we see the Prophet ﷺ and his companions, we see people who, when they prayed, you could see something as they go to pray, as they're about to pray, and when they leave that salah, there's some transformation happening 5 times a day. I want to help you to understand the dichotomy. If your understanding of salah is memorize some things in Arabic and then say it and then leave, and you don't really feel anything has changed in you, then you're not having the light. You are not praying salah. Salah is a desire to be close, as the Prophet ﷺ defined it, al-mar'u fi salatihi innama yunaji rabbah. A person while in salah is having an intimate conversation with their Lord. So you should feel a sense of beauty and richness from everything you're doing when you pray. You know what you're saying. You feel His response. You feel Him listening to you. You feel that you're being cleansed of the darkness of the sin that has affected you. You feel when you leave the salah, now you can start fresh with the rest of your day. That is one who is praying with the light, and that light will carry on. But the Prophet ﷺ taught us the best way to achieve that light. When he says, Allahu nuru samawati wal ard, that God is the light of the heavens and the earth, he has this beautiful allegory where he explains the beauty of cultivating light in the hearts of the believers and how that beautiful process is. But then the next ayah tells us where it should happen. What's the ideal circumstance in which that light will be cultivated in the hearts of the believers? في بيوت أذن الله أن ترفع ويذكر فيها اسمه يسبح له فيها بالغدو والآصال. That light is cultivated in houses, in mosques, in places of worship that were meant to be built as a home for spiritual bonding. A place where what brought you here and what happens here is all light from the divine source. It doesn't matter what your color of skin, your ethnicity, how much money you make. None of the things of this world mean anything when you go to the mosque. It's pure light. It's a divine fellowship. And there are opportunities that arise where you can learn some Quran or some Hadith, or where you can learn of an opportunity to shine the light. Someone needs help with this. Someone is going to go promote this truth. Somebody is going to stand against that oppression. Somebody needs someone to talk to console them, to give them advice. That happens here. So if we want to live in the light, it is not acceptable that we don't pray 5 times a day, and it is not acceptable that we do not pray as much as we can in the mosque with the fellow believers, getting to know people. I understand it's different here. In the Muslim world, you can go every corner, there's a mosque. It's much easier. But that doesn't mean that you can't come to the mosque and pray at least 3-4 times a week outside of Jum'ah. And when you come, because there's people who come every day, and no matter how many times I remind them of how this light works, for some reason they've been conditioned to believe it's a checkbox. I come here, I pray, I get up and leave. If there's a dars, I don't care. The reason why he wanted you to come here now, that dars is something you would not have at home. This fellow believer that you don't know his name or her name, you can get to know that person. You can meet up later for tea and build spiritual bonding in the light of Allah. That's why you're here. You can pray at home and pray collectively there. But he's telling you to come here for that reason. And that's why the Prophet ﷺ made this prayer only when he went to the mosque. اللهم اجعل في قلبي نورا وفي سمعي نورا وفي بصري نورا وعن يميني نورا وعن شمالي نورا ومن خلفي نورا ومن أمامي نورا ومن تحتي نورا ومن فوقي نورا اللهم اجعل لي نورا. When the Prophet was going to the mosque, he asked, Ya Allah, give me light. Put light in my hearing, in my sight, on my right, on my left, below me, above me, behind me, and in front of me. Envelop me with your light, O light of the heavens and the earth. It's this place where that light will shine. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه فإنه هو الغفور الرحيم. بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. What is this light? How do I get it? It's a state of being rooted in a clarity of purpose, a sense of confidence and trust based upon knowledge of revelation and reality. A lot of Muslims walk around in their life dealing with situations with like nervousness or shyness, or what do I say, what do I do, or what might they say, or what if I do this, if I do that, how might they react? I'm different, I have an accent, blah, blah, blah. This is not the light. You're allowing all of the material, worldly things to hold you down. It's a form of darkness. We have to formulate a special connection with the Prophet ﷺ and the book that he was sent with to live as an example. Your light is proportionate with how much you choose to read the Quran and Sunnah and the seerah of the Prophet ﷺ. That revelation, it builds that sense of confidence, it builds that sense of driven purpose. What am I doing here? How am I going to deal with this situation or that person? What gives me that strength and that courage to stand up to corruption, oppression, lies, tyranny, antagonism? What's the ideal way to deal with it? This is the light. The light moves us to live with resolve and conviction in a refined growth mindset. You're humble with Allah, and that gives you confidence with Bani Adam. It's a sense of purpose and meaning in your life through revelation, through seeing how the Prophet ﷺ was always smiling. They said, Kana Nabi Bassaman. They referred to him in the exaggerated context that he used to always smile. And yet we know that the Prophet ﷺ was constantly abused, humiliated, tortured, afflicted. People were trying to kill him, destroy him, stop his message. And yet he was always smiling because he had the light. He knew what he was supposed to do. Wallahu mutimmu nurihi walau kariha al-kafirun. We have all those tools at our fingertips. If we want the light to shine, we have to move towards it and with it. If we expect the light to come from some holy sheikh's dua, or from some religious person's action, or for some politicians who we must trust in, that's not where it's going to come from. The Prophet ﷺ's companions were a very small group. All of the worldly material things say they will never achieve anything. They will be destroyed. This thing will just be a little blotch in the big history of claimed beliefs. But the light was with them, and that's why we're all sitting here today. If we want the tyranny to be removed, we have to embrace the light. And this is why Surah Al-Falaq is the way it is. Surah Al-Falaq, قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ. Tell people, I seek refuge, safety in the Lord of the daybreak. Falaq is before dawn. Falaq comes before Fajr. Falaq is where the horizon is completely black. If there's no light around you, if the moon is not shining, you cannot tell the horizon from the land. or the sea. When that falak, that crack of light comes, then there's like this dark brown, oval, and there's like if you look perfect, you'll see some orangish coming there. What he's saying is no matter how dark things get, no matter how much lies and corruption and oppression, he will bring light out of it. Min sharri ma khalaq, from the evil of the creation, from the evil of human beings that live in darkness, that spread darkness. And they spread min sharri ghasiqin idha waqab. When that darkness spreads and seems to be putting out the light, he's the one that can bring that falak and crack through. When people are doing black magic, working with evil jinns, he can undo that. When people are envious and they wish ill towards others, want them not to have what they have, wish that they have, and want them to have less, that evil, selfish attitude, he is the light that can extinguish all of that. See, a lot of people think Surah Al-Falaq or any part of the Quran is like a holy talisman. I don't believe that at all. The Quran is a book of guidance, and it is isti'ana. It is a way to seek the divine support through meaning, through purpose, through a heart's prayer in the light. The light is when you know what you're saying and what you're doing, where you're going. So if you are reciting Al-Falaq or An-Nas thinking you're going to undo some evil and you have no idea what you're saying, and there is no presence of heart and mind in what you're saying, it is empty of its purpose. It's a book of guidance. If you want his answer, you need to mean it. And we saw that in the example of the Prophet ﷺ and his companions. The Prophet ﷺ one time was asked, how are we going to have this success? How are we going to be in this light? And the Prophet said, if Allah wants good for you, if He wants to bestow His light on you, يُوَفِّقْهُ لِعَمَلٍ صَالِحٍ قَبْلَ الْمَوْتِ. He will make it easy for you to live your life every day working righteousness until death. And that's how we should be. That's living in the light. We should be able to see that we have a plan in dealing with situations and people and circumstances every day that's rooted in the light. We have to transform, we have to embrace Islam, embrace the light. It can't be that we're just going to affiliate ourselves with Islam and we do no work in the world. That's not the light. The light is bringing work that will repair corruption and evil and tyranny and falsehood. Whoever is shy of doing that is allowing the darkness to hold them down. Should never, they said, La haya fi din. Of course, the whole religion is haya and modesty and spiritual shame. But what it means is in living out your life as a believer, you should never be shy. You should never feel weak or what they might say or when you know what you're doing is the right thing because that is revelation, because that is the prophetic model, you should feel very strong and confident and comfortable in doing it. If not, the darkness has you. You need to seek that light. You pray for it, you read for it, you study revelation and creation, and He will bring you out.